Hey, what's up guys, it's Kelly, welcome back to my channel, welcome to my final book haul of 2021. If you find yourself enjoying this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, it really helps me out, and if you're new here and would like to see more of me, then please subscribe. Two things before we get started. One, I have been really sick this week, so I might still be a little bit throaty. Two, it's a big one. Like, I hope that you're prepared to strap in for a ride because I have a lot of books to get through. I'm not going to be giving a huge amount of information on them. That is mostly because I don't know what a lot of them are about, but we're going to go with that's because there are so many of them and I don't want to edit an hour-long video and you don't want to watch an hour-long video. So, bunch of books. It's going to be a rapid-fire haul. First up, we have The Kinda Poison by Natalie May. This is an arc I received from Jonathan Ball. This is a YA desert fantasy and has elements of human sacrifice in it. What more do we need to know, to be honest? Something you're going to be hearing a lot of in this video is gifted by Jonathan Ball. Like this one, Who's Loving You? Love Stories by Women of Colour. It is what it says on the tin. These are short stories by women of colour about love. That really just sums it up. Then we have Hollow Heart by Viola Degrado, which is, I think, literary fiction, and it tells the story of someone who commits suicide, and then I think it kind of follows them through the afterlife. Basically, it looks at the aftermath of their suicide and, yeah, follows them, it seems, through the afterlife. And everything that happens to them there. It sounds like it's going to be very like poncy and literary, but also like a very hard-hitting and have some like magical elements to it. Very excited. This beautiful collection of Grimm's fairy tales. Some of you may know I changed jobs about midway through this year, and what you might not know is that I was working for one bookstore company and I moved to a different bookstore company, so people knew that I was leaving but I couldn't tell anyone where I was going, so I was saying goodbye to my sales reps. Like, we had to tell them that I was leaving the store that I was working in, but I couldn't tell them that I was going to see them the following month because I was still going to be working with them, just working for a different company. And one of our sales reps gave me a really lovely goodbye gift, which 5 seconds after she gave it to me I was like, by the way, I'm gonna be seeing you next month. But this was included in it. This was a gift from my lovely Jonathan Ball kids sales rep, Varishka. It was fate for two reasons. One, I don't have a collection of Grimm's fairy tales. Love Grimm's fairy tales, but like I don't own a collection of them, so I was super excited about that. But also, I have a Robin Hood book, and it's in this exact same edition, and they are beautiful, and I'm so happy that I now have like a little mini collection of them. Then we have The Reading List by Sarah Nisha Adams. My husband actually got this through work from Jonathan Ball. This sounds so good and I've been hearing such good reviews of it. So this is about a woman who starts working at a local library, and I think when she starts working there she doesn't really read, but she finds a crumpled up reading list inside one of the books and kind of starts reading the books on it, starts following it. And a patron comes in and asks for book recommendations because he wants to connect with his granddaughter, who is an absolute bookworm, and the two of them start bonding over this reading list and the books that they're reading, and this like newfound shared love of literature. So it's both finding a connection to literature but also finding a connection to each other and finding a connection to other people through books, and it's all just such a beautiful premise and I'm super excited to read it. Then we have One Fine Day by Erna van Sale. This was gifted to me by the lovely folks over at Penguin. I'll be honest, I know nothing about this, I don't know what the synopsis is, but I've heard the most excellent things about Erna van Sale, and some of you may know I've had a troubling relationship with crime and thrillers. Most of them have disappointed me, but I feel like I ought to give more South African authors a try, and most of the like most successful ones are crime writers, so I'm gonna give her a shot because I know she's one of the best. So if it's gonna happen for me, chances are good that it's gonna happen with someone like Erna van Sale or Dion Meyer, so I'm gonna try them both and we'll see where we go from there. On the note of Dion Meyer, actually, I also got a copy of The Dark Flood by Dion Meyer, which, it's over there, I'm not going to go fetch it, but I did get this gifted by Jonathan Ball. I was invited to a small, intimate launch of the book, got to meet Dion Meyer for the second time. He's a very lovely man, and got it signed, which was cool. So I actually do know what this one is about. He's got this character called Benny Grissel, who's like this weathered detective, he's an alcoholic, life is in a bit of a shambles. He and his partner were almost fired for insubordination, but instead of fired just got demoted and are now like beat cops walking the streets of Stellenbosch and investigating a missing persons case, which like, they used to be part of the Hawks, which are like a super elite division of the South African like crime fighting force, and they're now like investigating a missing university student, but little do they know that there is a lot more to this disappearance than meets the eye. Then we also follow an estate agent, I think her name is Sandra, and like because of, okay, this is like a whole thing that I'm not going to get into, but like a bunch of shit went down in Stellenbosch and it has led to the housing market basically collapsing. So this estate agent, like she really needs a sale, and she gets a call from this man, I want to say his name is Jasper, I think his name is Jasper. He wants to sell his like multi-million-dollar home. He, FYI, is a fictionalized version of one of the people who was responsible for this whole like economic situation disaster that happened in Stellenbosch. He wants to sell his like multi-million-dollar home, and if she can manage to sell this house, like, could turn things around for her. And then like the whole home selling situation presumably gets like tied in with the missing persons case, because this dude who wants to sell his house is like 100% shady. It's a whole thing. I'm pretty excited to read it. It sounds like a good time. Then, oh, so excited about this. This was like the biggest treat myself moment of the year. I bought the Song of Achilles special edition. It is so beautiful. Oh, that's my order information with some personal information on it. Like, oh, look at those end pages, and I managed to snag one of the signed ones. So the like bookstore chain that I work for, one of our stores got 10 copies of this, and immediately I was like, so can you reserve one of those for me, please? Can you? Yeah. I'm not going to tell y'all what the Song of Achilles is about because you are on the internet. Oh shit! This is embarrassing. Okay. So Penguin gives out ARCs, wrapped up all nice sometimes. And this one has been sitting in my haul pile for like a good 6 or 7 months, and I had not unwrapped it. You may remember a few months back the lamentable library pick was Tall Bones by Anna Bailey, and I didn't own it, so I was like, oh, I'll just, like, I borrowed one from my husband's store. Yeah, turns out I had an ARC the whole time. So this is both simultaneously a haul and an unhaul because I don't need this book in my life. I really don't. I don't. So this is Hello and Goodbye to Tall Bones by Anna Bailey. This is how much of a disaster I am. Then we have The Mask Falling by Samantha Shannon. This is the most recent book in the Bones season series, and I still haven't started it. The Bones season has been on my TBR like 5 or 6 times, and I don't know why. I feel weirdly intimidated by it. I don't like actively feel intimidated by it, but I just can't bring myself to actually like open it, even though I really want to read it. I don't know. But clairvoyance, in a world where it's illegal to be clairvoyant, is kind of what I know about the initial premise of the story, and then I know it takes you on a whole ride that will break your heart, and I want to get my heart broken. I just can't bring myself to actually do it. Then we have Marion Lane and the Midnight Burner by T.A. Wilberg, again gifted by Jonathan Ball. This just sounds like a super fun, like, gothic or Victorian murder mystery, like secret detectives in London who live like underground in this twisty like labyrinth hidden city. It sounds fantastic. 10 out of 10. Cannot wait to read it. It's going to be all atmosphere and I am here for it. Then we have The Constant Rabbit by Jasper Fforde. This I think is like a political satire in kind of fantasy form. So basically there are 1.2 million rabbits living in the UK, like human-sized rabbits who walk and talk and drive cars and go to work and like are members of society. And there's this family of rabbits that's about to move into like this cute, quaint little town, little village, and basically they move in and immediately the rest of the village is like, you can just yeet back to where you came from. And I think basically the point is that it's supposed to be like a satire on Brexit, but instead of being foreign, they're rabbits. It sounds like it's going to be the most bizarre time, but like, I think it's going to be grand. I mean, there are all these signs that say things like save our furry friends, stop leporophobia, rabbits have rights to, say no to Rabexit, carrot munching vermin, we want our village back, take back control from rabbits, they breed so fast, stop rabbit domination. Which side of the fence are you on? I think it's going to be just 10 out of 10. Next we have One Little Mistake by Sophia Money Coots. This is about a woman who is in a like very stable long-term relationship, assumes that she's going to marry her boyfriend, and then he dumps her, kind of out of the blue. So she goes on Tinder, puts on a good bra, and goes on a great first date with this guy called Max. Unfortunately, Max then ghosts her, and their one night of passion has turned into a pregnancy. And she's pretty content that she can do this by herself. She's like, I don't expect anything from him, but like, dude has a right to know that he's gonna have a baby, you know? Like, it's fine if he doesn't want to be involved, but like, I at least need to tell him. Only to find out that he is actually an extremely eligible bachelor, which begs the question, why was he on Tinder? But anyway, he is a very eligible bachelor. He is the son of Lord and Lady Rushbrook, and he is currently trekking up a mountain in South Asia. So maybe he wasn't ghosting her after all. It just sounds like it's going to be like fun and light, kind of Marion Keyes-y, Sophie Kinsella-y. Just think it's going to be a good time and like a quick kind of mindless read. Then we have Rumple Buttercup by Matthew Gay Grubler. I have wanted this book for so long. Like, the squeal I let out when this was originally subbed to us. But like, I didn't order it for my store because I was like, I'm not going to be able to convince anyone to buy this book, so it's so fucking weird. And like, no one is going to buy this unless they know who Matthew Gay Grubler is. So I never read it, but then I found it on a really good sale, so I had to buy it. And it's just like a very cute, charming, weird little picture book. I mean, it is technically a chapter book, but like, it's basically a picture book, all written and illustrated by that Matthew Gay Grubler. And it's about Rumple Buttercup and how he learns to accept himself regardless of how funny looking he is. Then we have The Comfort Book by Matt Haig. I wanted to read this for quite a while. I love Matt Haig, I love his children's books, but I've been wanting to read his non-fiction as well, just because I love his views and thoughts on mental health and like how we can combat it. And I've just heard this described as like a hug in book form. It's literally just like a compilation of things designed to bring you comfort, and it's perfection. Like, that is exactly what I need right now. It's exactly what the world needs right now. Just a hug in a book. Yes, love it. Then we have Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. Again, an arc gifted to me by the lovely folks at Jonathan Ball, and this is just a retelling of the Ariadne and Theseus and the Minotaur myth. I kind of skimmed through it and I wasn't wowed by the writing style, but I'm pretty sure that Ashley read it and really enjoyed it. And like, anytime that Ashley recommends a Greek mythology retelling, I'm just like, okay, it is actually one of the good ones. So I wasn't super sold on it, but after hearing her reaction to it, I am like a lot more excited to read it. Then we have Red Hood by Eleanor K. Arnold, an arc gifted by Jonathan Ball, and all I really know about this is that it's a feminist Red Riding Hood retelling. Love that. Didn't need to know any more information. Please and thank you, was already sold. Then we have Tokyo Ever After by Emiko Jean, which was gifted to me by the lovely folks over at Pan Macmillan, and this was basically pitched to me as like Princess Diaries meets Crazy Rich Asians. This is about a Japanese American girl who has never known who her father is until one day she discovers that in fact he is the Crown Prince of Japan, and she ends up going over to Japan to, I guess, like train to become his heir. So where all of her life she's been an outsider in the US because she's Japanese and her family is different to the families around her, now she's gone to Japan, she's finally like reclaiming her birthright, and she's found this missing piece that makes her feel like whole and complete, because she's always had this butterfly identity that she didn't understand and that she didn't know about, and her life should finally, like, you know, feel complete. But from what I've been told, when she then goes to Japan, suddenly like she's too American for her Japanese family. So it's a struggle between like these two parts of her identity and these two cultures that she has to try to align in her own way, and also just finding out that she is a royal, which is like a pretty big curveball to throw into a teenager's life. So I think it's just going to be like a fun, sweet little read, and I'm pretty excited for it. Then we have the Iliad by Homer. It's the Iliad by Homer, it's just another edition of it. Then we have Pieces by Helen Oyeyemi, which is a arc also gifted to me by Jonathan Ball, and this is about a couple who take a trip on a train and don't really know a lot of, like, they don't know a lot about the journey they're going to go on. It's very mysterious, and they kind of start exploring the train and meeting the other passengers, and the more they learn, the more confusing things get. Like, there is a long-term inhabitant who just like lives permanently on the train and has this very weird relationship to this like mysterious man, and they're not really sure if they're guests, like if they're passengers or if they're prisoners, and it all just sounds very weird, but I think it's going to be great. I've heard amazing things about Helen Oyeyemi. Obviously, she's iconic, and I'm pretty excited to read it. I think I do want to read a lot more literary fiction next year. I read Bewilderment by Richard Powers this year, and it just reminded me how much I can enjoy just like poncy nonsense. So yeah, more literary fiction on the horizon in 2022 for me. Then we have Guns, Gems and Steel by Jared Diamond, which is a short history of everybody for the last 13,000 years. This is a popular science book that basically looks at like how geography and biogeography has shaped the history of the world, and how people in different locations have evolved differently, and how like similar events have impacted the progress and the history of like different places around the world in different ways and in similar ways through the history of like war and conflict and medicine and illnesses and all that jazz. This is why I don't talk about non-fiction, because I sound like an idiot. Next we have Heap House by Edward Carey, and I'm just going to read the back because I can't really tell you what it's about, but like this intrigues me. Claude Ironmonger was not supposed to, but he hears a brass door handle saying Alice Higgs, and his birth object, a universal bath plug, constantly calls out James Henry Hayward. The rest of the Ironmonger family would rather the objects collected from the rubbish heaps of London stayed quiet, but something is happening. The objects piled up inside and around Heap House over generations are not staying in their place. With the arrival of Lucy Pennant, everything shifts and Claude will have to decide where he belongs. So it sounds like we have kind of a sentient house situation, if not a sentient house, like at least sentient objects that are also rubbish. I don't know, it sounds really bizarre, but I think it's going to be really fun and entertaining and just a good time. Then we have Curse of the Dream Witch by Alan Stratton, which is about a dream witch who wants to steal the heart of the princess, and basically until she has the princess's heart, she just kind of keeps terrorizing all the kids in the kingdom. I don't know if that's because she's looking for the princess, or as like punishment that if you don't give me the princess, like I'm just gonna kill all the kids in the kingdom. I don't know. But there's this boy called Milo, who is a peasant boy trapped in the Dream Witch's lair, and he and the princess end up going on the run and like trying to escape from the Dream Witch. I don't know, again, sounds bizarre, but like a really good time. Then we have The Wolf Den by Elodie Harper, again an arc gifted by Jonathan Ball. So this is another like feminist retelling of ancient history. It's set in a brothel in Pompeii, and we follow one of the women as she strives to like own her freedom and try to escape from this terrible life that she's found herself in. Then we have Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry by Joya Goffney. This is a YA rom-com and it just sounds really cute. So we follow Quinn, who just makes, like, she compulsively makes lists. Her lists keep her sane, they keep her grounded. They keep everything from becoming a big ol' mess. But then her journal of lists goes missing. Then an anonymous account posts one of her lists on Instagram and starts blackmailing her that she has to face her 7 biggest fears, or they're going to release more of these lists. So she teams up with a boy called Carter, who is like the last person that she would want to team up with. She absolutely hates him, to try to uncover the person that is behind this mess. I think it's going to be really cute. I think it already sounds like it would make a fun movie. Netflix, you should probably get on this. I'm excited for just like a good time. Then we have The Moth Diaries by Rachel Klein. I know little to nothing about this, but I do know that it's described as dark, haunting, and gothic, so I was pretty much sold on that alone, and the cover, which is ugly but intriguing. Then we have The Lingering by Holiday? I don't know, which was compared to The Woman in Black, which like intrigues me because that was definitely one of my favourite books of the year. So we follow this couple who move into this small, self-sufficient commune in the English Fens. Like, they're looking for a new start, a fresh start, just like get away from everything. And the village nearby was once home to like witches and witch trials, and Rosalind House, which is where the commune has been established, was once a psychiatric hospital. And as soon as they move in, weird shit starts going down. Like, the villagers start acting really weird. It all just seems very strange. And I'm intrigued. I'm here for it. Then we have Shadowgast by Thomas Taylor, which is the third book in the Malamander series. Then we have Under a Whispering Door by TJ Klune, which I have already heard such good things about. I've already been told that this made people cry, and I was just like, yep, I'm sold. Thank you. Here for it. Basically, a reaper collects this man called Wallace from what she claims is his funeral, and he's just like, excuse you, I am not dead. Why are you like this? But then Hugo, a mysterious tea shop owner, offers to help him cross over into the afterlife. But this man is refusing to abandon his life, even though he just spent his whole life working. And as he starts to spend more time with Hugo, and they start to like trade inside jokes, and he starts to develop a really lovely relationship with him, he realizes that maybe he missed the point of this whole life thing. So when he's told that he only has a week before he has to cross over into the afterlife, Wallace and Hugo go about recreating a whole lifetime's worth of memories in just 7 days. And oh my goodness, I now see why I'm gonna cry. Then we have No One Around Here Reads Tolstoy by Mark Hodkinson, Memoirs of a Working Class Reader. So it's a memory of him growing up working class in the 70s and 80s in a family that didn't value reading. And it's about the music he listened to and the food he ate and the sports he played, but most importantly, it's about the books he read, the books that shaped him and turned him into the man that he is today, who is a journalist, a writer, and living in a house that has 3,500 books. What a dream. And in addition to recounting his own relationship with books and stories, it's also just like a love letter to books and the history of books, and how like books and stories and storytelling have changed over the last like 60 to 70 years, starting with the working class writers from the 50s and 60s, which were the first time that Mark saw himself represented in literature. I love books about books, and I love memoirs about books. Like, I love reading about the books that shaped other people, so I'm really excited to read this one. Then we've got The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Dalila Harris. So we follow Nella, who is the only black woman working at a prestigious publishing house. So when another black woman is hired, she's really excited about the fact that she no longer has to share the whole burden of being like the token black person in the office. But soon after Hazel arrives, things start to get really weird. There are like threatening notes, like weird stuff keeps happening, and she starts to wonder, what if there can only be one of us? And just in the little, like, so there's like an author's note at the beginning of the arc, which was gifted to me by Jonathan Ball, obs. And she said, I started writing this while I was working in editorial at Knopf Doubleday, after the rare occurrence of running into another young black woman in the bathroom. I was excited and surprised to see her, and then surprised that I was so surprised. When she didn't acknowledge me in the bathroom mirror, I wondered, what if there can only be one of us? I know Hannah really enjoyed this, and that's just like the seal of approval that I needed, so I'm very excited to get to this one. Next we have The Gifts by Liz Hyder, also gifted by Jonathan Ball. This is set in 1840, and there is a young woman stumbling through the forest when a pair of wings just like rip out of her back. And rumours of this fallen angel start to reach London, and they reach the ears of a surgeon who is just desperate for like fame and fortune. And these rumours, combined with his desperation, cause him to like spark a dangerous obsession. It sounds like it's going to be like sinister and creepy and gothic in the best way, and I'm very excited for it. Then we have Why She Wrote, which was also kindly gifted to me by the folks at Jonathan Ball, and I adore this. I haven't read it yet, but I have like flipped through it and I love it. So it's a graphic history of the lives, inspiration and writings of important women throughout history. So they're all grouped together, so like horror writers, activists, people who had like different public identities, basically people who pretended to be men. So it'll open up, it'll basically give like a little rundown of the group, then lovely portrait of the person, lovely like a one-page biography, and then a little graphic novel portion depicting like an important moment from their life. And just, oh, I love it so much. So much. Oh, wait. Yeah. And then also just like a little more illustrations and then the works of theirs that you could read. Again, just like I love books about books, therefore I love books about writers, and I love women, so love this so much. Just like love the concept, love the art, everything about it, 10 out of 10, obsessed. Then I got this 3 days ago and I squealed when I opened the package. I'm so excited. I got an arc of the Atlas 6 from the lovely folks at Pan Macmillan. I'm so happy. This is by Olivia Blake. It's the runaway TikTok success. Like, everyone is talking about this book. I'm so excited to finally read it. Cannot wait. It's dark academia. So basically every decade, 6 talented young magicians are invited to compete to get a place in the prestigious Alexandrian Society. The time has come. 6 magicians are invited. They go for the chance of a lifetime. So they go to the London headquarters of the society, and they'll have to spend a year studying and dedicating themselves to all of these arcane arts. And at the end of the year, they get a spot in the society, if they survive. So the back says 6 are chosen, only 5 will walk away. I think the tension in this is going to be incredible. I remember Becca really enjoying this, and I'm so excited to read it. Like, oh, the concept was enough for me. The recommendation from Becca, though, just like cinched the deal. I'm so excited to read this book. And then lastly, I finally got a copy of Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I love this book so much, and I'm so happy that I finally own it physically and I can just reread it and annotate it. So excited. So that's it. That's a wrap on my last book haul of 2021. So many books. Now I have to find space for them on my shelves. Love that. Don't know what. Let me know in the comments what you thought of any of the books that I mentioned in this video. Let me know what the most recent book that you hauled was. And yeah, I'm so excited to be going into 2022. Oh, gonna be manifesting a better reading year for myself. All the good times. Love it. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy this, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you aren't already. In the description, you'll find links to all of my other social media. That's my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, as well as my blog and my TikTok. You'll also find links to my Ko-fi, my Patreon, my online store, my Redbubble store, my Blackwell's affiliate link, and my Scribd link if you'd like to support me using any of those. But that's it for me today, and I shall see you all again very soon. Bye!
My life is grounded in a